Uno Minuto right here, Winning Wednesday with Morpheus. Got a phenomenal friend, guest, extraordinaire of education, you may say. I'll say it. I did say it. You got 40 seconds before this guy is coming on with us right here. Boom, Conor Gray with the Senior NCO Academy, bringing some major wins from across the Air Force, which is truly, truly exciting. If you haven't done it yet, subscribe, like, follow, share, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Where else? There's another one. YouTube, LinkedIn, all those places, where it's available. So glad to have you with us, brother. Truly, truly.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Truly exciting. It is. Hey, thanks for joining us again, Winning Wednesday. I'm Trigger, your host right here with Morpheus, your strategic innovation team, nestled right in the strategic studies group for the chief of staff and the vice chief of staff. And the really cool thing about this discussion today is, first off, you can have more of these discussions if you just do yourself a little favor by follow along, subscribe, share, whatever you're doing, wherever you're doing it, wherever you're consuming this from. Make sure you hit the like button and follow along so you can continue getting great content and info just like we are about to have with Conor. Conor, I got introduced to you here, I don't know, was it maybe a month ago, I guess? Was it a month ago?
Yeah, a month or so, yeah.
I think it was about a month ago. Liz, who is now the senior NCO for the SSG, but she is part of our Morpheus team, and she had been working with you, or had heard that you were doing some awesome integration of some of the wins, or looking for stories of innovation wins from across the Air Force. And I gotta say, man, this is not to toot our own horn here, but this is really exciting that what you guys were seeing there of wanting to integrate and wanting to build out and wanting to help senior NCOs was something we were easily be able to help with, because we've been talking about innovation wins and failures on Fail Fast Friday for a little bit. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing, like the vision, what the Senior NCO Academy is about, what you're working towards, because it's really exciting.
Yeah, it really is. Super proud of the team at the Senior NCOA. They've been humping it. They've probably been doing 3 jobs over the last year or so, both teaching, right?
Yeah.
We have not halted.
Yeah.
They've been rewriting an entire course, and then they've
Wow.
been training on that very course, and it is currently running today, which is amazing. And I'll get more into that, but I couldn't be more proud of the team at the Air Force Senior NCOA. They're amazing.
Yeah.
But back to Liz and Morpheus, we actually started probably about a year ago working together. We had Chief Isham come in and give us a few pointers, specifically with design thinking. And what ended up happening is he gave us a peek under the tent about what was eventually to become the Air Force Enlisted Development Action Plan, right? That Chief Bass ended up putting out in December. And it just happened that we were doing a ton of research on what the Air Force Senior NCOA should be doing, in particular, developing the leaders of tomorrow, and getting after some of the things that Chief Bass had asked all of PME to do, and that was to prepare leaders for 2030. So we were already doing that. We were already figuring out what that had in store for us. But design thinking was one of the things that came up pretty early, and we said, hey, let's give it a shot, right? Because our current problem solving module was all CPI, right? It was your basic 8-step thing, and the students didn't really like it. Let's just be honest, and it was very linear, very process oriented. So we looked into this design thinking, and it was kind of funny because we were like, hey, we need help with design thinking, and man, people came out of the woodworks, out of every corner of the Air Force. Did someone say design thinking? We're here to help, right? So that was kind of our first taste of
say it ain't so.
Rapidly developing curriculum in-house. We were given an authority to do that, which was a battle in itself. But we got it across, and it took us a little while to get the design thinking in there, but it is in there. We got a taste, and then I guess we said we wanted more, and we said, let's rewrite the entire course in 5 months.
Yeah. I mean, it's no big deal. We'll just, it's Wednesday, so we might as well just go ahead and do that because that's apparently just what we do on Wednesdays is rewrite an entire course and off to the races. Off to the races you go. That's so funny. How is that different when when you're talking about integrating design thinking into? I know you mentioned CPI, and kind of what that process was. Which I'd be remiss if I didn't say, you know. CPI that's been, I don't want to say a point of contention, but there's been this back and forth of, well, CPI is a very methodical process that allows you to be able to engage and get data that you're looking for later. We'll circle back to this in a little bit, but CPI, yes, incredibly useful when you have data sets and you're ready to find out what sustainability looks like in that continuation of it. A huge fan of the MG folks and what they do with integration into innovation. It's just amazing how these different pieces are so applicable in such different elements or so applicable at different times and so incredibly useful. And that's one of the things I want to dive into real quick is how is that a departure from what used to be normal at the Air Force NCOA, senior
Well,
NCOA, I guess.
there's a few different things that most people don't know, and then my particular background kind of lent myself to this problem set kind of perfectly.
Yeah.
So first, my background, I was at Travis Air Force Base for about 4 years, and I kind of fell on the sword a little bit and took a spot known as the what did they call it? The maintenance group CPI manager.
Yeah.
Uh, right, and I had nothing to lose, so I just kind of went all in, right?
Right.
Um, I think I ended up doing maybe close to 30 events across the base within a couple of years,
Oh,
right?
wow.
They had me do some work at the wing level, right? Got to know a lot of people like Brian Hermes, right? He's an animal. Uh, who was the Andy Wright, man? He took me under his wing, man. Taught me a whole bunch. But what I ended up finding pretty early is just like you said, there was these Spark guys, right? And then there's the CPI guys, and for some reason they can't get along. And it's just like that is total BS. Like you
Yeah.
should be working hand in hand the entire time, right?
Right.
Like even in the 8-step process,
Right.
like you need to diverge, right? You need creativity. CPI
Right.
says that.
Right. Right.
I think in the CPI playbook, if you get the latest one, it even has design thinking in there.
Yeah.
To say that like this innovation and CPI is separate, it's not.
Yeah.
They actually work very very well together if you really understand both processes.
Right.
Yeah,
That
towards the end, I was just like, hey, anytime we're at a certain point in a CPI event, get the Spark guys in here.
right.
Like they're the smart people that might have a solution and the know-how to implement it that you don't have in the room right now.
Yeah.
Um, and that worked really, really well for both Spark and CPI.
Yeah. That
Right. So that mindset kind of trickled into uh, at Air Force Senior NCOA, and we kind of made the curriculum blend those two together, and that's
yeah.
what you had to do.
That's so incredibly cool. Is that new? Is that new in the sense of when you get senior NCOs in, they're probably at that point fairly privy to CPI, or by now they've seen or heard of Spark Cells or innovation. I mean, I don't know that there's a rock you could even live in under this point that you could live under this point, not have heard innovation anywhere, just across the Air
Yeah,
Force. So
yeah.
I'm sure that there's some level of experience that people see the senior NCOs are getting when they come in. But how is that integration that they're getting now of that blend you're talking about of being able to share, hey, here's a win, a real world win from the innovation space, because you have taken some of the wins we've done even here on Winning Wednesday and turn those into kind of a class session, play this video and say, okay, how could you help, or what could have additionally been done to maybe help in this situation? Is that just a completely different mindset from how PME has been done when you're talking about that innovation integration at a senior level for senior NCOs, or is it just a more direct application?
Whoa. So that's a lot. So what I would say is maybe new to PME in general, and it's kind of what we've been attacking for the last week
Yeah.
is relevant content and you have to have the ability to change it quickly,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So in PME in the past, so we did some research on this, right? What would typically happen is you would have this thing called the triannual review, where all the MAJCOM chiefs and chaired by the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, they would just come in and talk about what PMA should be.
Mm-hmm.
So triannual review, that only happens every 3 years. And typically right around then is when the powers that be that would initiate a full course rewrite. We said that you just can't do that. Like
Right.
that doesn't work in an era of accelerate, change, or lose.
Right.
So probably the best thing that we've been doing, and the biggest kind of, and I'll give you an example of that just happened today, is be able to change your curriculum fast at the speed of relevance.
I like
You
that.
got to do it, right? And design thinking, innovation, those things, like the lesson that we'll talk about in a little bit later, that's relevant and it's happening right now. And
Yeah.
you got to get in that in the classroom as fast as possible. You
Yeah.
can't wait every 3 years to rewrite a course. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like for instance, Chief Bass would be out of the office by the time we see her pictures in the textbooks. Like, no,
Right.
like she's our leader. Let's follow quickly. Like,
Right.
let's get this in PE and get these things happening.
Right.
But in terms of innovation and kind of what they're expecting, so design thinking, I would say, is still innovation, right? That like that word has personified itself and lifted every rock and drug everybody out, right?
Yeah.
Uh, but design thinking is still new to most of our student body. Um, I would say it's pretty half and half. Once we teach both, so we'll teach Air Force CPI, we'll teach design thinking. We'll break them into groups, and they tackle a real world problem. And thanks to Liz and Morpheus, we know what those real world problems are, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So they attack those problems. They write a paper. But I would say senior NCOs, they're still like 50-50, which is probably a pretty good mix.
Yeah.
Some of them like the 8-step. Some of them like the design thinking. It's refreshing. It's fun. It's a little bit more human centered, which I think lends to a lot of personalities that have been probably to this point maybe marginalized to some extent. Right.
Mm.
So once they learn that, they start to like it, and then once they blend them both together, it's amazing.
Yeah.
This is my cat Hobbs. There he is.
Oh man, everybody wants to hop on. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome. That's a really, really great point. A really, really great point. That the application of it, of being able to think, of being able to, I guess, apply it differently, and no kidding, being able to walk them through what that looks like. And here's a couple examples. I love what you're talking about of being able to change the speed of relevance. I had a conversation yesterday with, interestingly, the FAA, kind of their innovation team that has sparked up, and it was really interesting. They did a partnership with academia, a local university, and was just simply asking what, with everything that's changed, being able to learn almost anything and everything from YouTube in some capacity,
Yeah.
being able to have instantaneous access to information, technology surrounding us. How has that changed the workforce development pipeline? And one of the things that they realized was this glaring issue of, oh my gosh, like we're getting people that are trained and more knowledgeable in how we should be implementing systems that we don't even have. And we are way slowing ourselves down. And it was this, they realized that through, it sounds like a very similar process of taking some people and giving them real world experience of applying towards a situation. And they saw the difference between the new workforce that was coming in and the workforce that had been established for a while. And they said, holy cow, how is there such a disparity of the speed and the solution that was created in this amount of time? They almost did it in a fraction, 66% less time than the other workforce did. And it was just a completely different way of thinking, which is super cool, completely cool.
It's almost like that's the role that education has supposed to be. It's supposed to be playing in a industrialized nation. Education plays a role.
Yeah.
Like it's very, very important.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing in the military. Like what is it that PME can really do to really help? And like, I'm sorry, it's not reviewing the same like leadership philosophy like 5 times, right? Like you
Right.
can get those on YouTube. You're getting those at NCO seminars now,
Right.
right? Like since COVID, right? This proliferation of video conferencing, video professional enhancement, right? Like there's certain things that PME can't really compete with anymore.
Right.
Like so, for instance, like we do have a new emotional intelligence lesson that has made it into the new curriculum. There's a good solid block on it, but like for a while now, we were getting students that would come in. They're like, "Yeah, I have this certificate from this Harvard workshop on emotional intelligence," and it's just like, well, great, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll do this, right? So
Yeah.
so we have taken that into account, like the YouTube, all of those things that Chief Bass is doing, right? Like this learning ecosystem, have learning on demand,
Yeah.
right? Go on Air Force portal. Like there's tons of things on there on what is it, My Learning
Yeah.
or Meal Connect or one of those things.
Yeah.
There's tons of free courses.
Yeah.
Like go take those. Or how about this? I'll do you one better. Use your TA. How about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Go to
Yeah.
school.
How about that? How about that?
Yeah,
How
right?
about them apples? Yeah. I that's a really great point about maybe this idea of continued professional education is less about ex- teaching something completely new and more about honing in and challenging to a deeper level what that knowledge, that applied knowledge actually is. And
Yeah,
maybe it actually is assumed that people truly do have access to all of this information, which I think you and I both know they do. We do. If we search for it, we can find it easily,
yeah,
very easily. But then it's how is it that we apply that in the context of which we operate and not just kind of monkey see, monkey do. Okay, I learned this new thing and now I'm going to do it. And this is the only way you do it. And that's the thing, going back to the emotional intelligence topic that you just brought up, which is just literally my favorite of all time, is the essentially emotional intelligence is really your ability to recognize situationally, recognize yourself, recognize the situation, recognize where others are at, and apply the most logical and applicable solution or pathway in that scenario that changes drastically from other scenarios that you may see any given day. But that's what emotional intelligence really is. We could go on that for days and days and
yeah,
days, like literally
yeah.
for forever. What is something? So as you've been applying these wins and working towards this, kind of what's the response you've gotten as we kind of close out today for the wins? Because these are major wins. I mean, when you start talking education, you're talking about fundamentally changing just the mindset of what people have thought about their education, which, there's been challenges in the past. I love what we're getting after. What are some of those exciting things that are coming up that as you've seen these applied?
Right. Yeah. So we have some good leadership here, right? And it also helps in, I think it was the 2018 NDS. They literally said PME is stagnating, so that kind of gave us a free ticket to say, like, well, what have you done since 2018?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, we got it from here. You guys can just take a back seat. So that has helped out. But the feedback that we've gotten, and we developed a new course with an extensive deep dive into student feedback, what people are saying around the Air Force about the current thing, and we kind of built this thing. It's been nothing but excitement trigger, man.
I believe it, dude. I believe it.
When we say we're doing relevant things, like, and things that you don't know, like no one wants to come to the Air Force Senior NCOA, like your last real PME experience, and get taught transformational leadership again. Like,
Right.
I love talking about be a transformational leader. Like, yeah, like I've been PME for a while. Like I've heard it over and over again. Let's stop doing that. Like,
Right.
uh, so some of the things that we get critiqued about, but also, equally, if not more, we get that excitement from is talking more about military stuff,
Yeah.
right? Talking more about relevant problems that no one has solved
Yeah.
in the military, in the Air Force, and one of the best ways that we've been able to do that. I partnered up with AFRIX and Craig Bying. Wow, what a guy! He
Yeah.
helped me develop the innovation lesson. So we kept design thinking. So design thinking is still in there. Then we roll into this innovation lesson, that features your win and fail videos, a good deep conversation about what innovation really is, what you can do in your units to perpetuate it, to encourage it, to give that psychological safety to every airman in the Air Force.
Yeah.
To try and fail at something, but as long as you learn and don't give up, like keep going.
Yeah.
But probably the coolest thing that we have in there is we partnered up with Vision to incorporate it into the official curriculum. And when we demoed this with the staff, so there was about 20 staff members, and I demoed it for them, played the video. Gray, you so bougie, right? Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
Log into Vision, and they're like, Vision, what's that? And if you don't know what Vision is, like, log in now.
Yeah.
They logged into Vision, and they went in there, and in the exercise, it has them, hey, like, you said you were good at innovation. You said you love your airmen. You said you're a good leader, all this other stuff. Cool. Go into Vision, go to your base, go to your unit or a unit right across the street. What are they doing?
Wow.
And among the 20 staff members, they all looked in there. They're like, never seen this or heard about this before. Then they get into their unit and they discover that airmen are working on things that they care about right down the street.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So where are you at? Where was that leadership stuff? Where was that innovation stuff? I thought you said you were good.
Yeah.
But in the course, we give them the liberty and the time to say, like, you know what? I am going to do something about this.
Right.
I am going to pick up the phone. Like, when I go back, I know exactly who to talk to. I know exactly what to do. I can help these people.
Right.
And we have them say it in front of their peers before they walk out the door.
Right.
I can't wait to see what happens, because the demo, as the new kids say, it smacked or it slaps. It slaps. Yeah, that's what they say.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh God, Connor, you know what just happened?
What?
I just realized I'm old. Because I had no idea what that term was. Oh no, it slaps. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah, it slaps.
Okay, all right, it slaps. Well, listen, we're slapping here. Dude, you totally. I can't believe it. That totally left me speechless to say I cannot believe I'm that guy. But you know what? That's okay. I can handle that. That really, really is amazing though, because the honesty that you share this with, of sometimes you just got to have those hard conversations to say, hey, like, you say you're about this, but where is the follow through? And if you don't know how to get to Vision and see what's going on in your base, then I'm not sure that you are operating at the level of encouragement and support of innovation that you think you are. You should probably get to it. Dude, I love that. It's very direct. Sometimes it's painful, but you know what? Growth is painful. It can be painful. It is. That's the reality of what it is. Conor, man, any parting shots that you would encourage anybody who's either coming up to NCOA or anybody who's doing enlisted or even officer PME at their own base? What would you recommend to them of the lessons you've learned even thus far with integrating this?
I would say it's the same lessons that are in most innovation efforts. Like, look, it's hard. Like, it really is hard.
Yeah.
You're going to be told no a whole bunch of times. You're going to be told it will fail, but like, you just got to keep at it, right?
Right.
And be open to accommodating where you can, because you don't always have the best idea, right? When you open it up to others, when you open it up to other perspectives, they really refine and help your idea, and then they get on board, right? But don't give up. Don't be afraid of thinking big. Like, you can do it.
Right.
Like, you can.
Yeah.
You can change the PME. You can change the curriculum. You can do all of those things. You can make it relevant. You can network. You can integrate with the learning ecosystem. You can do all of those things. Just don't give up. Keep going. Know that it's hard, but it's worth it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, man. You just got me fired up. I'm ready to charge out for the rest of the week. You can do it. I love it. Conor, thank you so incredibly much. Conor Gray from the Air Force Senior NCO Academy, not to be confused with any other, because there's only one, the Air Force Senior NCO Academy, doing exciting things. Conor, we'll see you later. Thank you so incredibly much. Hey, if you have enjoyed this content, and not only this content, but also learning and understanding the awesome things that are taking place, do yourself a favor. Feel free to send us an email right there at team@morpheusaf.com if you have additional questions, or you can subscribe really anywhere that's available. LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, no TikTok. Don't even think about it. No TikTok, but also you can go to morpheusaf.com to be able to follow and subscribe there to the website so you can continue getting great info you're looking for. Awesome seeing the wins right there from Conor and team this week at the Air Force Senior NCO Academy, and truly looking forward to see more of those as we come up. So stick with us. We got Fail Fast Friday coming up this week, which truly excited about. And next week, we're going to be hearing from Spark, Michael Offenbecker from Spark of the awesome things, Spark AFWorks, awesome things that are taking place there, followed by truly the experience from this SEI 9I, what somebody's experience was the week afterwards, right here, Winning Wednesday. My friends, we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us. And as always, stay at the edge of innovation. It's the only place to be. We'll see ya.